we're back. Brock got home from school, so I'm gonna cut his hair. And his hair is very unique. It sticks straight and it likes to stick up all over. And he has a growth pattern that put your head down for me. He has a growth pattern that grows inward like this. So the best haircut for him is a faux hawk. So I will be teaching you how to cut a faux hawk today on him. Okay, what you're gonna need is a pair of clippers and a number 1 guard, which is 1/8 of an inch, and a number 2 guard, which is 1/4 inch, a comb, your trimmers, squirt bottle, and gel. I use Joico Power Gel, number 10, that works great. Oh, hello, I need my shears. Most important part. Shears and my thinning shears. Oh, sorry. Thinning shears have the teeth in them, and I use these for texturing as well. And then my shears. Okay, so to start with him, I'm gonna shave his sides. I like his hair pretty short because it sticks out. He just has straight hair that sticks out. So I'm gonna use a number 1 on the sides. Pump him up to my level because I'm tall. And so again, I'm just gonna go temple, all the way around to his temple. Let me just show you how far I go up in the back. Put your head down for a second. Everyone has a bone that sticks out of their head right here. It's called the occipital bone. And you kind of just want to go above that to where your head starts to round. Everyone's head starts to round in a different spot, so you just kind of have to feel, and that's where you want to bring your clippers up to, is where it stops. And then as I come up, I kind of want to pull away from the hair. See how I'm like flicking my clippers like this? That just helps with blending better because it keeps this part longer when you flick it. And when what? Yeah, Brock said I can't get too close to the blade or I'll get cut, which is true. So, okay, and then I always go around again a second time just to make sure I got all the hairs, because we like straight hairs hanging out behind your head. Okay, and then I like to start at the top. I always do the sides and then I cut the top and then I blend the sides to the top. And that's the way I do it. Sorry, can you put your head up? I'll show you. He has gel in his hair this morning, so kind of hurting, it looks like. Getting through this gel. Okay. You know, this power gel is really good, the Joico, because I put it in the morning and then as we go somewhere, I just re-wet his hair and kind of spike it and it holds it again. So I love that power gel for that reason. Because I don't have to reapply it. It just stays in there and I can move it around. Okay. So for the faux hawk, it's obviously longer in the middle, right? So you're gonna start with your guide up here. You want to cut where your length wants to be. I'm just gonna do a little bit. I like his hair a little short. And you're gonna turn him. And when you cut that, and you see where I cut, this is actually my mark right here. And their head rounds. See gotta take that into consideration when you come back. Keep your head right like that. So then here's my guide. So I'm gonna cut all this. Here's my guide again, right here. So I'm gonna cut all this. You wanna make sure to go all the way back to their crown. And then right here, you're gonna kind of blend it down here. You're gonna blend this with this. So see that? You just wanna take that off. And I kind of like to take it just a little bit over as well on either side. Look straight up. So I do a section down the middle, and then I want to bring the section over just a little bit on the side and do the same thing. And when you do that, it directs the hair this way, so it leaves this part, the part that we already cut, longer because this is pulled over so far. And I also like to do that on the other side. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so now this is way long. See how this is long over here and long over here, and then we've got our guide here in the middle. We want this longer than this part. So what you want to do is, this is your guide right here, and this is your guide because we've cut the sides. We're going to blend those a little bit. So we want to cut all this off in between here because we want this part in the middle to be longer. Then just go further down. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So here's my guide here, and my guide's over here. We want to cut all this in the middle. So like I said, this haircut works really good with his hair pattern, the way it grows, because it just wants to do the faux hawk. So why fight something when it wants to do another thing? It's my logic behind cutting hair. So some people will come in and say, oh, I want this haircut from Jennifer Aniston, and they don't have her same type of hair. So I will say, I don't know if you can get that look. We can always try it and see. But just, there's certain haircuts that work really good with certain types of hair. Perfect. Now I'm going to check my work. Gotta re-wet it. The first thing I like to do is pull the front down. Okay, sit up straight for me. And I like to point cut the front. That's where you just take the scissors, and instead of doing a blunt cut, you point with the scissors. And just make sure this is even all the way across. Because let's say one day I didn't do his hair, just down hanging. You don't want different long pieces hanging. Okay. Perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna check my hair. And how you check your hair is you cut it in the opposite direction you cut it. So I always call this my horizontal cut. I cut everything horizontally. Now I'm gonna go over it vertically and go this way. And you can kind of use your hair as guide. If you see anything random sticking up in the middle of your fingers, like a mountain or a hill, that's what you want to cut. So sometimes you won't have to cut, and sometimes you do have to cut. Just so everything is even. And I like to do a shorter faux hawk on him. You can do this any length. You don't necessarily have to do it short. So you can do any attachment on the sides. I mean, I've done like a 4 attachment on the sides, and then just did the same technique on top, but just left it longer, and you can have a longer faux hawk. But for him, and because I'm going into surgery, I just want his haircut, so I don't have to worry about him, and he'll look handsome. Right, Bud? Mm-hmm. Perfect, I'm liking that. Okay, and his sides are crazy. His sides right here just want to stick out straight. So I really like to take those short. What I do with him is I take my number 2 guard, and I seriously just come up on it and cut it. And blend it up. See, I'm blending it up from a number 1 to a number 2, so that'll blend really nice. I just like this really short through here. Even in the back, I'll show you the back. See this hair is sticking out? I just really like to take this short. And I'm still doing the effect of this when I go up, because I want to keep this part long, like up here. And so get used to flicking your wrist with the clippers. Right, and I don't get close so I don't get hurt, Rob says again. He's reminding me. Starting to itch.
It was like a steam itch, but it kind of hurt.
Okay, once that's done, I always go back with my number 1, and I pull the lever down just to make it a little bit longer, and then I go from where I started with the number 2 to number 1, and in between there, I do the same thing, and that'll blend really nice from a 1 to a 2. Because it is so short, my fingers are so sausagey. It's just too hard to get that real tight, so you need to use the clippers for that. And usually, I did a pretty good job. Usually you can see the line where this needs to work, but I did a pretty good job. Not having that line today. Okay, look up for me. So I like to let the clippers do most of the work. Beautiful. And then I always come down here and check the sides and make sure there's sometimes you can see a bubble there, and that's where you come up with this and just hit it. So you want to make sure the sides look good. So I check that side. I think my clippers need to be oiled. That side looks awesome. Okay. Perfect. Then I'll take my thinning shears. I always use these with men's haircuts and women haircuts, just to make sure everything's blended. If there's a choppy line that I missed, or I just go over it again with the thinning shears. Because these make your mistakes very forgiving if you make mistakes. And he's got a thick crown too right here. I think a lot of people do. So I really just like to thin this out. I think it helps when you style their hair. So you just kind of lift up the hair. Then I love to texture, I love to texture the top. And I do that with my thinning shears as well. I pick up the hair. And see, as you can see when I comb up, this part right here is long because we cut this part really short and I took the two there and then we blended it up. But I also like to take my thinning shears and I kind of point cut into it with these so it takes random pieces. Makes their hair light so when you style it and put gel, it's not so heavy and you can work with the hair better. Perfect. Okay, last but not least, wipe his face down. I like to do the perimeter last. It's like my finishing touch. So I do it last. Some people do it first, but I like to do it last. Okay, so I usually, when I pick the sideburns, see this crease in the ear? Everyone has a crease right here. And that's kind of where my guide is to go over. I don't like real short sideburn, I like a little. So this is where I take my guide, is from this crease in the ear right here. So straight. Every kid smiles on this part because it tickles. Go ahead and look down. You want to make sure you have them look down because some people have a prominent neck, a neckline back here. And so you really want to make that straight. So you always have them look down. Okay, go ahead and look up. I should have showed you where I went on his neckline. I'll show you. Okay, go ahead and look down. So you have him look down. And some people's hair goes all the way down. You don't want to go above his ears because that would be silly if his neckline is up here. So I would start with his ear, just kind of picture around, and that's kind of where you start to make your line, and then just make a straight line from there. And then you can shave as far down as it goes. Okay, and to determine if the sideburns are straight, this is how I do it. I put my finger where I cut, and then I come over here and put my finger where I cut. Because everybody's ears are not the same. One's higher than the other on everyone's head. And so then you can kind of look at your fingers. And I'm just doing this because they're my kids. I would not do this on clients. But then, you can see if they're straight, and yeah, they're pretty good. Oh, a handsome boy. Okay, so now the fun part, we style it. So I like to get it wet. And it kind of has a lot of gel on there still. I'll just put a little bit more. I always like to spike it first before I put gel in. So I'm using the Joy Toe Power Gel, number 10. They have different levels. So if you just want like a sculpting gel, or this is a really strong hold gel, this is good for kids. And you want what, a quarter size gel? Rub it in, make sure you rub it in your fingers. And just put it in. And then I like to take my comb and actually spike it up too with gel in it. And then I kind of just bring the sides down and then move this down and then just gather this together. See how his hair just goes so nice into a faux hawk? It's because his hair wants to do that. So that's why I chose this haircut for Brock. That is beautiful. Okay, put your head up. Show everyone your new haircut. Perfect. There you go. You have a faux hawk for a kid, and you can do this in adults. And if you want to follow me some more, please subscribe to me to R2 Bros. Thank you for watching. I like to have the clippers do most of the work for me, and that's why they have different numbers, so you can fade it up good.